Right. Here we are. It's a bit 2 on 1.
It is, isn't it? It's very close.
Podcast 2 versus me. I feel like the first podcast. Actually, do you know what this feels like? A really budget version of the Jonathan Ross show that I've just welcomed 2 guests out. That, you know.
Yeah, I think so. You've got Jonathan Ross's old hair, I think.
Yeah, I think.
No, he had curtains. Mm.
One thing we need to address immediately
The lid.
is the lid situation. I've noticed that you bully me online, or join in with the bullying online.
You can't say bully.
Not bullying.
Say bully.
What is it? Disagreeing. Well, you agree with people that are bullying. How about that?
Sure.
No backup.
Yeah, exactly. I expect Greg to be in there backing me up, but no.
It's funny though, isn't it?
Not when you're the victim. And that's what I am in this situation. Ooh, the feedback from the first podcast was Greg was great, really good. Callum looked like he was in prison.
They want to see more of you.
Yeah,
That's the thing.
This is it. I mean, victimised. So you can introduce our guest.
I will indeed. So we have Darius, our head of security, head of cyber security at the FU IT. So
yeah, not like security on the door.
No, yeah.
Like,
he's not a bouncer.
Yeah,
although,
yeah.
You know,
Christmas dues and late night pizza nights.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, we've got poker night on Friday. Dee's just going to stand at the door like that.
And he'll jacket.
That's what he wants.
He'll get an armband.
He wants 17% of the take.
You have to swipe everyone's bank cards for entry.
Let's be fair. The service boys, it's not worth it, mate. They've spent it all on Monster already.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, the food van came this morning.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Unbelievable.
It's gone. Yeah, no, so Darius, D has been with us for 8 years.
Yeah,
8 years. Joined from another MSP, a local MSP. Joined initially on the help desk, where probably safe to say you helped transform it. To be fair, because when you first joined, I think we were pretty immature in terms of the way we used to work. Yeah, it was like me, you, Neil, a couple of Adam, a couple of others, and we were purely service based.
Yeah. Break fix.
Yeah, break fix. Not embarrassed to say, not everything got logged all the time.
No.
You know, like obviously we logged customer, issues and things like that, but not in the right way certainly on the help desk. And then when not in the right way, but not as thoroughly as we should have done.
Correct.
And by that I mean, had I have gone away for like a week and someone had picked up on my tickets, they wouldn't have had a clue where they were at.
Yeah. Because they'd have been in your back pocket.
Basically.
Yeah, gone through the wash.
But that's all about maturing as a business and a service desk.
Yeah.
Pretty much. But D came in with a slightly different mentality.
Yes, agreed.
To us, if that's fair to say.
Yeah,
Maybe not yourself, but definitely me.
I mean.
Where it was no ticket, no work,
Yeah.
and it was document everything. And again, not embarrassed to say, we had the Bible.
Yeah.
Which was
when you say
supposed to
we
have.
have, I still have.
You still have it, yeah.
I still have that.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm not sure the left
scroll.
Bible.
Yeah, good point.
It's papyrus. It's like a solid.
Looks like a treasure map.
Yeah.
It's basically stained,
Yeah.
tea stains all over it, stuff like that.
So
we had that as our password management system.
Yeah.
Then we started throwing some stuff into Excel, and then D came along and matured us.
Yeah.
And probably one of the reasons we are ISO 27001 now, as well as Cyber Essentials Plus and a few other security-based accreditation, is because Darius is here and he's always been driving us forward in that respect.
You're being bloody nice.
I'm being pretty nice. Yeah.
Darius did not expect this intro. Darius is sitting there thinking,
if he'd been sitting over there, might have been
exactly.
too close to him.
This is also your appraisal, by the way.
Yeah, well, and I suppose that's a good intro. You can introduce yourself further. I suppose how long have you been in IT?
I'd say, for at least 13 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Started right at the bottom. Been to university, was digging away, trying to get a job. Prior to even getting a job, I was working in a country park, and they've said to me basically, "What you're doing here, you've got a degree, but you still have to start at the bottom. It doesn't matter what you've got, you've still got to start at the bottom." So I've been through service desk for the last 13 years, service desk all the way through to cyber security. been out in the field. yeah.
Tick those
Been
boxes.
involved. Yeah. And I think you have to start from the bottom. Don't you?
Yeah, so
Yeah.
grind it out.
To grow, over the years.
Yeah, I think it
100%.
gives you empathy to the other people in the business.
Yeah.
If you do that, you understand the quick wins situation, you
Yeah.
understand the ticket situation, you can help out, and like Greg says, not only did you sort of change that side of the business, but you're seen as a bit of a mentor here. People always come to you for, if it's quick help they want, they definitely don't come to you, but if they want long, solid advice, then that's that, isn't
Yeah,
it?
for sure.
What you, not recently, but obviously a few years ago, it became very evident that security was your bag, where you wanted to be. Has that always been the case, or do you think that's developed over time? Or
I think it's always been the case, just from how I am as a person. Obviously,
Right.
at the food, people
Yeah.
they like to have a little laugh and joke, say like it's quite prim, proper.
Yeah.
So I think it's always been there. I'm always checking stuff
Yes,
thoroughly. So
yeah.
I think it's always been in the background.
Yeah.
I think people laugh and joke about it, but as a person, it's how I
It's
am.
just
It
how you
kind of
are,
fits.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah.
it kind of
Yeah.
fits. Like
yeah,
I think people laugh and joke about all the keys out of my pocket, and I say to them, "Well, I'm not going to leave both my car keys at home. I want an attacker or a burglar to have to work to get my
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know about anyone else,
Exactly,
but you know,
Yeah.
they need to work hard, and if they do work hard, they have to either get the data or get my car. At least I've got my hands on it. So
but it does. It's needed for that
Yeah.
job role.
Yeah,
That's
it,
what
yeah.
security is. I said to Darius earlier, had a member of staff message me on Teams and said, "Can you change my 365 password for me?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." Went to change it, I rang that person and was
Nice.
like, "Just a quick one, is this you?" And they replied with, "Okay, Darius." They knew that the instruction had come from sort of, Darius just cementing this in my head over and on. But then that person agreed, was like, "No, it's the right thing, you've got to do these sort of things."
Yeah,
And without
yeah.
Darius's mindset of being
Yeah,
like that,
exactly.
would have been not
Yeah.
where we are now.
No, definitely not. No, it's a culture thing. Like security is a culture thing, and
100%.
Darius has driven that for us.
100%,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah.
Since you started, regardless of what role you're in, sort of thing, it's always been like
Yeah.
that. And I think that's where a lot of small businesses maybe they're kind of getting that mindset, but they're not quite there yet.
Yeah, it's true.
And it sometimes takes a breach or an attack to get them kind of to that point where they start to think about security
Yeah,
proactively.
100%. No, I don't think any business wants to spend money as such on cyber security because they see it as there's no profit.
It's a cost,
So,
yeah.
it's just loss every time when they've got
Yes.
to pay monthlies, for instance. That's a loss. They don't really see the benefit. As soon as a breach happens, that's it. They want to start talking more
Yeah.
about cyber security. So I
Yeah.
think trying to get small businesses especially to start to understand why budgeting, putting something aside at least, or paying
Yeah.
monthlies to have, I don't know, EDR protection or something.
Yeah.
Or process, just thinking about thinking about cyber security
Yeah.
is the first step.
Yeah.
It's the first.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And stop thinking about it as a burden.
Yeah.
As yes, it is a cost, and it's not that you don't get anything for it, because what you get is a good night's sleep.
Yeah.
You know that you've done your utmost
That's it.
to prevent those attacks, and it's, I think, like you say, people are slowly getting it. The more it's in the mainstream media and all that sort of stuff, and every time the BBC reports on an attack, I'm actually really grateful, because it means people are like, "That's what
Yeah, it's
Darius
more
was telling me
exposure.
about."
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Ah. But they often, I think, the trap now is small businesses think that it only happens to big businesses.
Yeah.
When we know as well as
far
anyone,
from it.
it's probably the opposite way around. Way more, it just doesn't get reported in the BBC.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a long way to go, but it's,
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you've got, obviously you have cyber insurance now, but cyber security as a whole is an insurance policy.
Yeah.
Like there's two. There's the reactive one where you are breached and then you go out and put everything in place. Or there's the proactive approach where you put things in place in order to stop it. And the service we can provide on top of that is a proactive approach. So kind of there's the insurance side of it, protecting the customer. If the worst should happen, it's covered. But the kind of proactive approach, which you give a lot of our customers, majority of our customers, is the advice, sound advice, help and support, holding their hand through their PCI compliance checks, cyber essentials, just advice on phishing emails
Yeah.
and bits and bobs like that, and that's the part which is over and above just an insurance policy.
Yes.
You know what I mean? A cyber insurance policy. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I think it's good that we as DeFu and Darius as an individual take time to educate the company and the staff there.
Mm.
Because as much as we can put all this stuff in place and Darius is proactive with it, they need to be on the process with us.
Yeah.
And so we were joking the other day, had a client, I asked her to change, you knew this was coming up, right? You knew this was coming up, I couldn't not. I asked the client to change her password, if I could change her password. I said, I've changed it, I need you to change it now. And she said, no, don't believe who you are. And I've heard of you, but I've never spoken to you. How do I know this is you? And my ego took a huge hit, as you can imagine. I was proud, but hurt. I think if you're watching this, you know exactly who you are. We've since bonded over that. I think our relationship's got tighter now, but that. And she said, "This is because Darius has told me not to do this, and we do the training." And I thought that was the first time I thought, "Wow, that was absolutely perfect." Passed her on to Louise, her actual account manager, who she speaks all the time, and it got done. But that was, for me, almost like a pinnacle point of
it shows,
people listening.
Yeah. It shows the discussions and the meetings actually do work, even because you sometimes can't see that result.
No.
Again, you might only see the result if attack happens and software kicks in and prevents the attack. But
that's exactly it.
Attacks aren't always done by that. Could be a phone call.
Could be anything. And it's one of those. I mean, the MSP world is a thankless task. No one rings up and says their PC's great. Same as no one's ever going to ring you and say, "Guess what? We didn't get hacked today."
Yeah.
Great. We can only judge it on that sort of, that reaction, that result. So I think that's really good, and I think more with your sort of the upcoming lunch and learn stuff, that'd be good. There's going to be some shocked faces in that room, I think, because I think there's people that think they're doing the utmost, and when it comes to it, just simple steps.
You've got to start. You've got to start at the bottom and work your way up. You can't just start at the top and think you're doing great, basically. You have to start from the bottom, work your way up.
Exactly.
You've got to start.
Yeah, it's that layered approach, isn't it? So obviously, the more layers you have, the more protected you are. You're never going to be bulletproof because it changes so often. So what would you say? Is there a most important layer, or if so, what, in your opinion, what is it?
Layered approach, I'd say you've got to start, but I would say you need to identify assets you've got. That's like how can you protect something you don't know what you've got? And then are you buying tools that are protecting something you don't even have? Right. You need to identify what you've got and then start working on top of those layers, really. So awareness training, EDR to protect your endpoint devices and your servers. So it's continuous, but you've got to start identify what you've got. So how many users do you have? Do you have users in the building remotely? Then that's when you can work out what you actually need. So I think it can become difficult, but you need to identify what you've got and what assets you've got out there.
And have someone like yourself tailor-make that solution.
Because
it's not out of the box.
No.
There is, every product is sort of out of the box, but they have to be managed and amalgamated into one solution to fit that business. It's that same old thing, isn't it? When we go to most review meetings, we get moaned at about our spam product blocking emails, and it's like, I know, I'm with you. And they look at me and they say, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I know, it really annoys me too." What? But the one thing I hate more than waiting an extra 3 minutes for my emails is ransomware. And then you can see them think about it and they're like, "It's fair point."
Good point.
Yeah, actually, leave that one. How many times have we been contacted by customers saying, "Get rid of that"? No. We can't support you if you get rid of that. This is just... Do you go to work and just leave your window open, lock your front door? Doesn't really work like that, does it? It's... Where do you see it going in the future? Where do you see the vulnerabilities? What should people look out for?
Everyone's talking about AI. That's obvious before we started the podcast. We had that little conversation where you said you made the phone call, but I think you've got to start thinking about AI. I think what may start to happen is like you made that phone call, but it could have been AI making that phone call. Yeah. What will probably happen, I mentioned this, that they probably start to piece podcasts together. So if you say several words over a year's period, maybe they'll
so just have sound bites and feed it in. I did see an application the other day which give it 30 seconds of voice activation sort of thing, and just spiel some sentence off to it, it'll go away and do its thing, and it'll literally replicate your voice.
It's
Which is
scary.
insane.
Yeah.
And you only need to make a phone call and prod in the direction of what your recording's got on it.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you're tapping buttons potentially as well.
I mean, what's the use of good for that software? What good?
Yeah, I can't.
Let us know in the comments what. That's something really podcast.
It did, didn't it?
That sounds
Well
like
done.
I've been
I
doing
like
this
that.
quite a
Yeah,
few
I
times.
really like that.
Smash the like button as well. Subscribe. Do you know 98.999% of our listeners don't subscribe? That's you. Subscribe.
The three that do are sat here.
Yeah, that's no. Darius hasn't subscribed.
Oh, isn't he?
We're going to bring that up later. But yeah, what good could that application to try and clone someone's voice? There's no.
Literally nothing.
You know,
I think
unless
apart
you-
from being in two places at once.
Yeah.
That is
I
literally
think it's
it.
one of those things though. There's products. It could be anything. There's products that are used for good and they get turned into
Turn into bad straight away.
yeah. So it is difficult, and there could be products out there that are used for bad at the start,
Yeah.
and now they're used for good. So
Yeah.
I think that's the problem. I think
There's always going to be an alternative use.
yeah. It's the same when I don't know, people are training for hacking,
Yeah,
and it's like, oh, you should be teaching people how to hack, but then
you kind of need to know.
if the people who are out there to do good don't understand it, then
Yeah,
it's difficult. So it's
there's a better purpose for it, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult.
It's funny, isn't it? Because especially with the AI stuff, everyone's talking about how ChatGPT and the like can write your essays for you, and you don't need to go to university. But they're really not looking at the bigger picture thing. If it can do that now, Alfie has just written, one of our engineers has just written his own AI chatbot for his house, so he can talk to his server at home to turn lights on and everything. Just what? I mean, I know personally I prefer a light switch. I'm okay with that. But if that's something he's concocted in his bedroom, then what are these? I'm not saying he's not an elite hacker. I hope he's not. But what are these guys doing?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, how is it going to be? At what stage are your bank unable to verify it's you? Because now I've got to put this picture of me on. I've got to blink 3 times. I've got to do the hokey cokey just to get in. But soon someone will get around that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's our first interruption to the podcast.
I've done a run.
We would never know. I wonder.
Whose silhouette was it?
I don't know. It was very slender.
It was, yeah. Can't be anyone who works here.
No. 3 athletes are in the room, aren't there?
Exactly.
Apologies for that
Yes.
interruption. It's a working day. We don't meet up outside of work and do this yet. Once we get to 100,000 subscribers, we'll probably do that.
Yeah.
Get like a YouTube office.
Yeah, we need some sponsors first, obviously.
Yeah,
Pay
we would.
us to come in at the weekend.
We would need some sponsors. Yeah, no revival this week, I'm afraid.
No, unfortunately not.
No, we have been. There's been some discussions around Brownie sponsorship,
Yeah.
but somehow Emily got them instead of us.
Try how that works.
Yeah, no, same. Very so yes, back to AI before we really interrupted. There's going to be a point where you're almost going to have to do a physical check of something, not just on a screen to do any sort of transaction. Surely, just doesn't seem. It always found it weird. When the Apple went from fingerprint to face. When I want to sneak through my wife's phone, I just don't want her to sleep. Hold the camera up to her face. I mean, embezzle all of our. I haven't got any savings, but if we did, I'd be embezzling all those savings. But what's the next step? What do we think is the next?
Lord knows.
Yeah. Well, the problem is, does anyone really know? Banks are closing down. Like I said, verification becomes difficult. But do we have to then revert back when we really potential
That's
problem?
it.
Is
This is
Full
it.
circle.
Yeah, do we go full circle to no online banking?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, did tell you.
Yeah.
And then it's just physical banking over.
Yeah. It could also be the case, like you're trying to verify, if it gets to the point where AI is kicking in and an attacker's got loads of details to be able to do a verification, I think it could get to the point where your verification, you go into the post office now.
Yes.
So they don't need the big buildings anymore, obviously, because they've closed a lot of them down.
Yeah.
Now you have to just verify at the post office. They've got a new little office there.
Yeah.
Someone's been trained up.
Give a blood sample.
Literally.
Wait
But
2
you have
weeks.
DNA. Literally the only way you can truly verify
Right.
would be DNA.
Yeah, and we say that now in the knowledge that DNA is currently a unique identifier.
Yes, yeah.
Which is great,
Yeah.
but you know where this is going, right? What if some clever person manages to change that and
Okay.
have your DNA, which they will,
Yeah, which they will.
and then we'll, I mean, Elon probably,
Probably. Yeah, probably.
you know? So basically what you're saying is businesses get security immediately because it's going to get crazy out
Pretty
there
much, yeah.
and get it from us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. I guess on that, the fact that it's ever changing and we're never going to be on top of, the chances are we'll never be on top of anything. From a salesperson's point of view, it is difficult. It's not difficult communicating the why, it's difficult communicating the now you need this, if you know what I mean, to a small business.
Yeah.
Because, like you were saying, they have a limited budget. As long as they've started, that's good progress.
Yeah.
But if you've started and you're protecting yourself against ransomware, as an example, next stage you might educate your users.
Yeah.
You go protecting yourself against phishing and all these bits and bobs that all cost a little bit more. You know, it's something else to manage as well, and there's a cost to manage. And how far does that go as well?
Yeah.
You know, like we're talking about AI.
Yeah.
What businesses, including ourselves, you know, we've got all these things in place. We've got cyber insurance and that, but we're going to need things to protect ourselves from a mass AI attack. You know, that sort of thing, or whatever comes out in the future. And it's difficult to get small businesses to understand and budget for it. And it, like we were saying earlier, budget's really only thought about when something drastic happens. Yeah. So, thoughts on educating business owners, decision makers on proactively managing that and controlling like a spiralling budget, for example.
Yeah, again, it's starting, but if you start and plan your budget, you get to 5 years, then your budget's kind of there. But again, it is difficult because if it's a small business, it's how much can they set aside.
Yes.
So I think internally their finances need to be managed well, and then those financial conversations need to have IT. It needs to be there, and not just IT for your hardware, it's your cyber security as well.
Yeah.
But I think we have to continue just to get in front of the customers really, having those conversations. Again, the news is always helping because they understand from that, but again, sometimes cybersecurity is the last thing on their mind until something really happens, and then the budget. What budget do we have?
Yeah, that's it. It's almost a separate line in the budget to IT.
Yes,
IT and cybersecurity.
Yeah, but again, we say cybersecurity, but I think you probably have to separate that out because hardware is important.
Right.
If you've got hardware that's 10 years old and it's no longer getting updates, I wouldn't probably class it so much as cybersecurity. It'd be kind of IT hardware. So it kind of falls hand in hand as well. So if you're just, for instance, say you're just budgeting for cybersecurity and not budgeting for your hardware.
It's the upkeep and stuff.
So it can be difficult for small businesses, but somehow you've got to be budgeting. There has to be that line in there for IT and separate that out, hardware kind of costs, management costs, cyber security, and then understand what benefits you're getting. You don't want to be, I don't know, small company trying to spend millions or something, get some sort of firewalls that you don't need because everyone works from home, for instance. You've got a powerful search and firewall that's doing all the work in the office, and you have 2 users there, and you've got the rest of them at home, like 20 users at home.
And it's completely
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're spending your money on, what the benefits are, where the money's going as well. It can be difficult.
I think it has to be, the layered approach is made, but each layer depends on the size and what you do as a business. Because it doesn't even, I don't think personally, matter the size of the business. For example, if you're a one-man band and you're in the financial sector and you're doing huge banking transactions or something like that, you need the best security. There's no doubt about it. Whereas, and I mean no disrespect for this, but if you're, say, have a warehouse with very little IT, you've got 100 headcount, but you manufacture, but it's sewing, you need probably not the full belt and braces, but you need the basics.
Yeah.
And I think it's, like you say, identify what you do as your role, as your company, and align it to that. Work out how much, and this is an exercise I think companies never do, they should do. What do you lose per day if you've got no IT? If we take your IT away for a day, how do you function? And how many days does it take till you stop being a business? Okay, you take your PCs and stuff away, you lose £10,000. If we take them away for 2 weeks, including your internet, and you've still got all your running costs on your stuff, then what? Or you close. There's a conversation.
Yeah.
So that's where your budget should be. Which one do you want? And as soon as you sort of have that conversation, there's, you know, I'm sure there's a great calculator online somewhere. If not, we should probably make
Probably. Get AI to do it.
ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT. Darius doesn't even exist. Darius hasn't been with us 8 years. He was created 8 minutes ago on ChatGPT. Great page for the upgraded version. But I think that's a good calculation for a business to work out how much, you know, you do depend on this and factor in every device, because people always forget your phone, the mobile phone.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, my laptop's fully protected. Great, but aren't we down the pub? Yeah, we're doing it. I'm just sending an email. What Wi-Fi are you on? Oh, the post Wi-Fi. I swear the pub didn't have Wi-Fi. Does it not? I'm on?
Easily done for individuals who don't understand and don't know.
I don't go on my phone if I'm within 5 metres of you. Do you know that? Because I just don't trust you for like at all. No, I've got VPN on VPN on VPN basically. But it's true, isn't it? People see that.
Yeah.
They need that outside person to tell them and to look at it from an outside point of view.
Yeah.
You think yourself you're really protected. I've got a really strong password. That was awesome 10 years ago. Unfortunately, that's not the situation anymore. You know, what's your password management tool? This bit of paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Top
Just
stuff.
2FA turned on.
Yeah, 2FA, get that turned on.
Yeah.
I mean, even 2FA in the, you know, regular world, the most I see it is on Instagram accounts. So many people, I lost my Instagram account.
Yeah.
But again,
Did you have 2FA?
It's just another layer.
Yeah,
exactly.
It can still be breached, but
exactly.
it's putting that
If
layer
you're doing
on.
the minimum, at least do that.
Yeah.
Press that slider so it goes from grey to green,
Yeah.
and just do that. You know, and how many? You know, we've all been there with 2FA. It's September. The new iPhone comes out. These all geeks here, they rush down to Apple. They get their new one, and they've got to set their 2FA again. And it's like the end of the world to these people. But realistically, it's going to take 10-15 minutes, and you're going to be safe.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, imagine if you could just log onto your bank and not have to do 2FA. You would be so scared, knowing what we know. You'd be like, yeah, this doesn't seem right. Would you say 2FA is the very base level of what people do in the layers?
Yeah, secure password, special characters, numbers, maybe minimum of 12 characters. But the 2FA is that extra layer. Again, it can be breached, but I suppose if 2FA was breached, at least you could say, oh, I had it on.
Yes.
Because that's that extra layer. You're not going to walk around knowing that you should have 2FA is available to the business and not turn it on.
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
exactly
better on than off.
Yeah,
right?
Adding that extra layer, like I said, I spoke about earlier, you want to make it difficult for the hacker or the burglars get into your house. You got to leave your premises and leave the window open. You want to make it as difficult as possible to lose data. To have ransomware on your machines. I'm
not 100% sure, so you'll have to educate me, but in the world of sort of cyber insurance, how does that work in terms of, so I'm assuming that once you go and do your audit, put these things in place, your cyber insurance will come down, or you'll get given it, or maybe not?
You have to meet, I mean, you've done more of these surveys than I have, certainly, but now, initially, when cyber insurance was first a big thing, it was you pay for cyber insurance. That was it. Right. There weren't many questions asked, were there?
Yeah.
But now we're seeing full audit documents, frameworks that small business needs to meet. You know, certain requirements they need to meet in order to get the cyber insurance to start with.
Yeah.
And again, I think it's just based on if you breach. Obviously, if you breach, it's going to go up.
course.
It's going to go up anyway, obviously,
Same
because
with
it
car
just goes
insurance,
up.
something,
Yeah,
yeah,
literally just
yeah.
go. But yeah, I don't think it would reduce a quote the more things
Right.
you had, but it's probably certainly stop it
But
going up.
you're at risk of
yeah.
maybe not even getting it.
Exactly.
I think it's you kind of, when you're filling out these questions, you kind of tick in the box. I think they almost work out right. If you don't have 2FA, you're at more risk. If they want to accept, if the insurance kind of want to accept that risk themselves, then they're going to say yes, you have insurance, but your premium's going to go up.
Right.
So it can be. I think that's the kind of direction it is. It's
Yeah.
kind of, do you have 2FA? And they may well say no, well we can't insure you, but then. So car, if you've got an old car, you're always going to find an insurance company to insure you, so it's going to be the same.
You get it, but
you'll
it's
get
not
it, but it's going to be higher.
Yeah.
And then again, what are the T's and C's? At the end of the day, when you get breached, how that company took your money, but how quick are they to pay you out when the breach happens?
Yeah.
Again, they probably shouldn't have took you on anyway because you didn't have to pay it, so you're more likely to get breached. So it's kind of like you have to know what insurance company you're picking at the time. Although you want cyber insurance and you get cyber insurance, how quick are they going to pay out?
Yes.
You didn't have 2FA.
Because it wasn't.
Yeah, it's difficult. I think it's going to continue to change, but you need to be ticking as many boxes as possible and picking an insurance company.
And the other difficult thing is a breach is technically the same as the scene of the crime.
Yeah.
Like you can't go tampering with evidence. So obviously, if you had a breach, ransomware or whatever, you want to get the business back up and running as soon as possible. But really, if you are looking to claim on your cyber insurance, you need to preserve as much evidence as possible because they're going to want to know how the breach happened. Eventually they're going to want to know that's not going to happen again. They are now a lot more sophisticated themselves, the insurance company.
Definitely.
Cyber security response teams will go
They're
out.
turning out to sites.
That's it. So it is getting a lot better than it was. But thankfully, we've never had a breach, and we've never had to use cyber insurance. So
we've been to many people that weren't clients.
Yes.
Get breached, and then we go and which is, I love those jobs because you sort of turn up and they're like, everything's broken and encrypted by 12 Russian hackers. Here's your audition. Show us how good you are. How? I mean,
have you got any backups?
Is
the question.
Normally,
Right, we'll give it. Do you reckon we'll be up and running by tomorrow?
Yeah.
Probably not. This is going to be a little while.
So,
do you think, so in terms of cyber insurance, obviously, and security side of it maturing, do you think it is ever going to become mandatory?
I hope so.
Yeah.
And this is something that I've banded about a few times, the other week on LinkedIn being one of those, about regulating the industry, or basically having some form of cybersecurity regulation. Says you have to have this or you have to have that, you have to meet this requirement. At the moment, in the UK, Cyber Essentials is the closest thing we've got. It's not compulsory, which is a shame. But eventually I think it will.
It should be, shouldn't it? Even if it was like a certain threshold, if you turn over X or then you have to get this in place.
Yeah, I think so.
And Cyber Essentials is actually worth touching on because that's gone through its same sort of maturing journey. When you both do, but cyber, I'm pretending to know what I'm on about here, so please feel free to jump in and correct me at any point, but Cyber Essentials, when it first came out, was basically a bit of black and white A4, and it was like, do you have a computer? Yes. Are you good on it? Yes. Are you protected? Yes. And it was like, sweet.
There you go.
That'd be X amount of pounds and how much it is, then you've now got Cyber Essentials. And I remember when it first came out, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this can't be an accreditation. But now, we're seeing that you have to meet someone for the plus. You've got to meet someone on site. You're not marking their work. You can do all the groundwork, but then they come in and almost. They at that point don't audit the company. They audit you because you've taken this. You've burdened. Shouldered that burden.
It's almost proof of what you're doing. You can for Cyber Essentials, I suppose you're kind of saying you've got this, but have you really got this? It is good to see a lot more businesses doing the Cyber Essentials Plus because you're proving it. What you said you've got. So do you have EDR on? Do you have 2FA on there? They're checking these things, so it is good because we can all say that we do these things.
Exactly.
But are we actually doing
exactly
is the thing.
What's the most common thing you see when you're performing these Cyber Essentials certifications and audits, should I say. What's the most common thing you see missing from small businesses?
2FA a lot of the time. I think we see weak password policies, and again we're aligning to Cyber Essentials, so that helps if that company, right, it's kind of, as such, we shouldn't say tick this box, but we are ticking the box out, setting password policies to minimum of 12 characters, special characters, so you see that a lot of the time. So I think that's where a lot of businesses were getting breached anyway, because of the weak password. There's always that conversation of how often should you be changing your password.
Yeah, and the advice on that seems to change.
It does. It's
pretty consistently.
Yeah.
I don't know the latest advice, but it's probably changed since we started this podcast. To be fair, but correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't they sort of suggest at one stage that you shouldn't change your password because it should be long and complex but memorable to you?
Yes.
Is that the advice given? Something like that? And then next week it was like, no, you need to change it every 11 minutes.
Yeah, every 30 days.
Yeah, and it's like, well, hang on a minute.
I think it fits what the business is doing. Like, again, regularly changing your password. Everyone was just putting on a sticky note under the keyboard, sticky note attached to the monitor.
Right, yeah, because they have to do it so frequently, you mean?
Yeah, that's where
that's where it fell down.
Yeah, they've said, you shouldn't change your password. I get it. I think.
What do you do? What's your
personal
strategy?
I'll be honest, I don't change my password after I've got a password manager.
Right. So what is the password?
Password 123.
No. Capital P? No, lowercase. Risky. Like it. Yeah,
but,
like it.
Yeah, if you've got a business, you've got individuals that are forever having to change their password, and they don't have a password manager, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
Sticky note, add 123 at the end.
Yeah.
If the system they're having to log into isn't intelligent enough to say you can't use that password you used 3 months ago, you've got problems. Every system is different. So that's the problem. If you've got a password manager and you're creating long passwords, special characters and things like that, then it's the route you want to go down if you can get a password manager in place. But
that seems to be best.
Either way, we need to definitely get away from sticky notes. That's the major thing.
Yeah, I think you were quite an advocate for getting rid of the sticky note era in a few businesses. I've seen a funny story, Darius, for all 6 views. Actually, we got quite a few viewers last time. We should probably say thank you to them.
Good point.
Yeah, kind of.
Well over 100, I think.
Yeah, well over 100. So. It was quite a lot of hours watched.
100, but
well over 100. Certainly, let's just say over 100.
It's 90 of those are probably you and I revisiting.
VPN.
That's what we should do. We could get monetised that way.
Good point.
I think we're only 50,000 subscribers short of monetisation. so
sometime in 2060.
Yeah. So basically, if you want to sponsor us now for a cheap rate.
Yeah, good shout. Talking to you, Dow.
Yeah, exactly.
Michael Dow.
Exactly. Give us the money. Or, do you know what would have been a great sponsor for this? One of our security products.
Good point.
I say we don't mention any of them by name until they send us some money.
That's a great shout.
And then we'll replace that. Massive.
Yeah, we can stick logos up there.
Yeah, no problem.
Flashing lights.
Yeah, exactly. We could, do guest giveaways.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to do this.
Good.
If you're one of our security providers, you know who you are, and I know you watched it, you've commented, send us some stuff. Right?
Perfect.
By Wednesday. And we're filming this on a Monday. So, Enable, looking at you. Send it over. Send the good stuff. Some drinks would be nice as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and cash.
Cash.
Yeah, we
Cash
like
is
cash.
king.
We like cash.
Maybe that's the way it will go. Who's
I need cash for our poker night on Friday because I'm definitely going to lose some.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I reckon.
That'd be good. Whose phone's vibrating?
I think it's mine.
Who didn't get the memo? Being in the podcast room and just doing that. Did you just look at your watch like it was an Apple Watch?
Yeah,
I thought you did that. I do that all the time. So, security, layers, scale it to your business, simple things cost nothing, good passwords, 2FA, you've probably got it. Do you think, I always think that user education is the biggest for me, because you're only as strong as your weakest link, is that the phrase?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah?
Pretty sure,
Yeah.
Sounded good.
It sounded good. It sounded podcasty, didn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
Because how many times have we seen emails come through that get vetted by us, and they're someone internally targeting someone new? we've seen it before where people have bought gift cards for the MD of a large company, but that person's only been there a week, so they don't want to go to person X and person watching this.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
But they do it.
Yeah, I've seen it within one day.
Yeah.
One day of an individual starting the business, and it's not gone the right direction.
People put it on LinkedIn that they're starting, and they're like, right, that person I love you. I'm going to email you because it's not hard to work out someone.
Yeah, the email. Yeah, it doesn't take long.
All you do is you email sales, who will always get back to you because it's sales. They're trying to sell something. So they'll come back with your email address, first name dot last name. So we got that new person, Steve Smith. Email them as the owner, which you get from Company's House or LinkedIn. Change one character ever so slightly. I need welcome to the company. You need me to buy me £500,000 worth of Amazon gift cards. And they're scared, so they do. Think they're a cracking first day. And unfortunately, that first day turns out to be their last. Because in one day, they've managed to lose 50 grand.
I think what happens is that they take the email offline into WhatsApp.
Yeah.
A lot of the time they do that, and then when you get onto WhatsApp, you see the mobile number, you see the face of your new director, and you think, oh, I'm going to do a great job today, first day in. I'll get this sorted for you real quick. And next few days, 50 Amazon vouchers, £50 each.
And you're at the job centre. How was your first day? It's been better. I'd be suspicious though if I started a job and the MD WhatsApp me on the first day. I would be a bit like, I'm leaving. This is a bit groomy.
True.
Not groomy if you do that as a business, I'm sure it's fantastic. Greg never WhatsApps me, ever. But yeah, I think user education is the big one. But I think as well, it's our job to educate the business, to educate their staff. Because it has to be cultural. It can't just be Darius, every time a new starter comes in and sits down with this person for half an hour and explains why we do this. They have to really buy into this and believe the procedures, don't they? And it has to be top-down management that pushes it.
For sure, it's cultural.
It is cultural, and it has to be. And I remember when we went through the changes here of being, a bit more immature business-wise. The stuff we did to each other was, I think, really good. Like someone walked away from their screen and left it not locked. I'm not going to tell anyone on camera what we did, but it made it cultural.
It did.
And everyone was like, that's not happening to me. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the amount of rogue Teams messages some people have sent to some people who've not, But that was great. And I think more businesses should try and adopt that style of, you've all got to be in it, rather than someone walking away and it just being okay. Now we know that if I literally, at my house, will walk back to my laptop and lock it.
Same.
If I've got up to go for the toilet or something, I'll get a drink, and the laptop's in the same room, and I think of you every time, and I lock it, and I literally lock the laptop, and I'm like, he's in my head. He's like ingrained in me.
It's got to be habitual though. It's got to be habitual.
Yeah, it has to be habitual, and you have to do it.
You just have to keep doing it. Be consistent with it, and it's the only way.
And I think if you do it as a business and you do get a new starter, they'll get that straight away. They'll only walk away or not lock their screen once, and then the team will go, sorry, new person X, we don't do that here. You really need to do it, and explain why. This isn't us being pedantic, this isn't us. The reason is anyone can access your system, and you might have different privileges than we do, and I think that's the key thing businesses need to try and get as part of their cultural journey.
Definitely.
It's going to be, but like I say, unfortunately, a lot of them don't see that until
it's too late.
Breachy McBreach face rears his head.
Rears his ugly head.
Did I just say Breachy McBreach face?
I think I did.
Did.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I also got called out last time on the amount of times I said in the podcast. And I watched it back, and it was awful. It was like I'd forgotten how to say any of the words.
I don't watch it, to be fair.
Did you not? No, I was in it. Some might say at the start of the show. Does it live up to your expectations, this podcast live? I know you watched it behind the computer screen, but now you're in it.
I was here on time, no one was down here, so... well, we're going strong.
That was nice, wasn't it?
It wasn't, to be fair.
8 years over. Unbelievable. Darius is bringing up being on time for stuff. Risky strategy. Risky strategy for Darius there. That's going to get noted, isn't it? What else should we talk about non-security wise? Let's talk about what we've been up to in general life. What have you been doing? Doing anything good?
Not really, to be fair. Been on holiday.
Nice. Where'd you go?
Yeah, I went to Spain.
Nice.
With the kids and the missus. That was nice.
Is it nice for them?
No, probably
No,
not.
that's
No,
just- How
the
was
kids
it?
did love it, to be fair, yeah. What did we do? Beach.
Nice.
Played golf,
Nice.
which, if anyone knows me, knows
Yeah.
I do not get on with the golf club very well. So,
You're good with a golf club, but it's not on a golf
yeah,
range.
exactly.
Is
Yeah,
it
yeah,
golfing
good
range?
point.
Is it golfing range?
Yeah, a good walk ruined.
Yeah.
Golf, yeah.
Literally,
So-
yeah, the classic.
There you go, on classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Nice and warm.
Good.
Yes, yeah, not too bad. How about
Good.
yourself?
I did something fantastic, which I thought you were going to bring up, and I was actually segueing you.
Ah,
into it.
right. Apologies.
But I went to the rugby.
Oh yes.
I went to the rugby, and you were there.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, you were there.
Last Friday.
Last Friday,
It's
yeah.
Monday.
Yeah. I'm going to get the Guinness joke now. Apparently, that pint of Guinness of yours is still there. I was going to have to do that. Yeah. No, that was great. Took a couple of clients down. Just had a jolly good day out. I mean, I know very little about rugby, and that's quite flattering. I know less than that. But it was good, wasn't it?
It was great. Yeah, great game. Yeah, good company.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Everyone got along.
Wasn't
So hope we can do a few more things like that. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
are a client or want to be a client, get in the comments.
Exactly.
Come to the rugby. It's the kind of thing we'll do. We'll just get you drunk and ask you about your passwords. You know, we promise not to talk too much shop. But it was good, wasn't it?
It was decent. Yeah,
It was a good day out. Everyone got along. It was a shock result.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, it was. I don't know much about it, but I know that wasn't.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Well, that scoreline wasn't planned.
No.
Yeah, South Africa beating New Zealand.
Yeah.
By that much. So, but
The hacker clearly not as intimidating as it once was.
clearly,
They didn't seem bothered.
they didn't.
They just looked at him like, "You've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah, come on, lads.
Come on,
Do something new.
do something different." You know, I wonder if one day they just came out and just did a different dance.
Like a Morris dance.
Yeah, or I was going to do it then, but it was really embarrassing. What's that? The Macarena. Imagine if they just came out on April Fool's Day and just did the Macarena. I think that'd be
It might work.
more threatening.
It might be.
I'd be like, ooh, why are they in a weird mood? What are they going to do?
This
to
is
me?
weird.
Yeah. But that's good. What have you been up to? Tell us.
Allotment.
Yes.
People probably don't know.
Big allotment. Big
Got the allotment
Andy.
going.
Yeah.
Got the pumpkins ready for
Growing
November.
patty pans.
Yeah, patty pans on
Nice.
the go, onions. That's about it, really. It's still tidying up. So, yeah, allotment. Signed up to a veterans football team.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Vets.
Yeah, played yet, carrying an injury.
Didn't even start.
That's what I mean. I did an MRI scan on the old knee.
So
We're signed.
You signed up to take advantage of the free physiotherapy.
Yeah,
That's what you
literally, yeah.
We're
Have we
signed.
got a physio? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. Yeah.
We're signed. Paid the money over. Yeah, probably only played. What have I played? Played in the
30
tournament.
seconds.
Played in goal.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Your classic.
Ronaldo goalkeeper.
Yeah, Ronaldo.
But
Yeah.
yeah, season started yesterday, so we won yesterday.
11 aside, yeah.
Yeah, 11 aside,
Yeah,
yeah.
nice.
We won 5, was it 5 for everything?
Oh, big up the team name. What is it?
Shelley Road, Vets.
Shelley Road Vets.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll, win the league.
Sounds
And I'll play a few
Join
games.
Luton in the Prem.
Yeah.
Nice.
Why do I get the feeling soon we're going to be asked for a shirt sponsor? Darius is warming up. Next season, I can imagine it now.
It could be, it could
The
be.
food security or something. Not an actual name. No, vets. How do you have to be paying vets?
35. Yeah. 35 with a bad knee.
Yeah.
What happened to
Jury
it?
accurate.
We used to be like young and sprightly.
Yeah. Life, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really want to be known as a vet. I mean, I can't play sport, I'm pathetic at it, but the vets. So if you started coming to the pub with me, you'd be in your prime. This age is prime pub. This is, young by any means. Get on the car scales, get down there.
We're all getting old, aren't we? We're all getting old.
Yeah.
Indeed.
It's not good. Right, should we wrap that? Unless there's anything you two, do you want to drop any knowledge on the viewers?
No, so where can, if any of the viewers want more of an insight into cybersecurity, what's going on, what's current, what's the latest threats are, where's the best place for them to go?
I'm going to be cheeky and say pick up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm going to be cheeky and say pick up the phone, give us a call. I don't mind having a chat, 10-15 minutes, so have a discussion. Like I
Yep.
said, education's key.
Darius is 10-15 minutes, by the way. It's going to be late. You're going
Put
to
them all in the side.
You are?
So put them all in the side.
Yeah, get the kettle on. But it'll be good. It'll be solid information, but pen and a pad ready.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's the best way to
Yeah.
pick it up. You know.
Yeah, fine. Yeah, give us a call. Yeah, always willing to have a go. Even if I'm like, I know, others here.
Will help.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pop in for a cup
Get
of
that
coffee or
discussion
tea.
started.
Yeah, for sure.
Check the office. If you want, you can pop in. You could sit in these chairs in the famous podcast studio.
Yeah, looking for guests. Anyone wants
We
to-
are looking for guests, actually. It's not that we're desperate
I've run out of ideas or anything like that.
or haven't got a clue what we're doing.
I only got the call up on the Friday, so I felt like someone else is supposed to be here. I got the late call up, so I wasn't sure.
What this is, right, is I'm going to be honest with you. I'm on it. I'm in. I'm podcast ready.
The funny thing is, we were supposed to be doing it on Friday.
Yes.
So that was a late.
Yeah, we were
late
supposed to be doing it
caller.
Friday. Yeah.
It was a late caller.
What should we do to the podcast? Should we do Darius on? Yeah, we should do it. No. Where's Duke? He's not here.
Are you ready? No.
Yeah.
Let's do it Monday.
Yeah, let's just do it Monday. But no, if any of you watching do want to be on, you don't even really need to be in the IT field. If you've got something to add to the chat,
Yep.
we'll talk to you about IT, or at you aggressively, and you can tell us what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, quite good actually.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah. If any, no people that have competitive podcasts that we don't want the likes of like Ben Thomas has got a good one. We don't want
Yeah, good point.
This is like professional.
Good point.
Ironically, he's got the grass at the back.
Yeah,
We've got
one
just
there,
off, but we're saving that for the 5th podcast. Surprise! We've got one too. Yeah. So Ben, if you think your podcast is in one, mate, might be for now.
You wait till you see our grass.
He's not even watch.
He's not watching.
He's not going to
Couldn't
watch.
care less about IT.
Or us.
Yeah, good point.
Or us.
Good point.
He only comments us when he wants us to spend money with his magazine, which we do.
Yes.
Who's the real
Awful.
one?
Awful.
Top stuff.
Yeah, great magazine.
Yeah, great magazine. To be fair.
All
Yeah.
things business.
All things business,
And
yeah.
Keys. And London.
And London now, I've seen that. Yeah, they've really branched out.
Mm.
They actually do
Really
quite a lot of really cool stuff as well. They're doing a marathon thing as well.
Yes.
Yeah. Why aren't you doing it? Question. I've put you on the podcast asking why you're not doing the marathon now.
It's great enough run, I think it is.
I read
I've
one.
signed up to a half marathon
Have
at the weekend. Cambridge half marathon.
Nice.
Yeah.
So is that Ben Thomas's one, or are we
No,
just skirting
no,
around
it's just
that?
a random one.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll sponsor you.
Oh, thanks.
Man of my word, I'll do that, but I'm not
I'm
running.
not looking for sponsorship, but I will take your money.
That's fine. I thought I was taking the job to get paid, but that hasn't happened in all these years. So, no, good. Well, that'll be good. Won't it?
Perfect. Yeah,
Cool.
that'll do. Nice.
Excellent.
Well done.
Right. I never know how to end it. We do need like a strap line.
Yeah, we
Stay,
do.
what's yours? Stay safe, stay
Stay
vigilant.
vigilant.
Stay safe, stay vigilant.
Yeah,
Sounds like a good way to wrap this one up.
it does.
Yeah.
Adios. I thought it was quite good.
That was alright.
Yeah.
I was going to go ham, and I forgot about it until right at the end.